Steven Yeun is officially out as Marvel Sentry. And it's not for a reason that's going to make for spicy YouTube content like Disney suddenly deciding that race swapping comic book characters is a bad idea. Instead, it's simply due to the strikes and scheduling issues. Steven Yeun basically wants to be able to do other things. He wants to be able to manage his time well and pursue other projects, though he does confirm that he wants to be in Marvel. Now, technically, I don't believe Marvel actually officially came out and confirmed Steven Yeun was going to be in the MCU as the Sentry. Instead, I think that was mainly rumors as well as a quote unquote confirmation from Robert Kirkman and a statement he made regarding the Sentry on a podcast. Either way, I think this is a good thing. It definitely opens up the ability for Marvel to cast a an actor that looks like the Sentry, that looks like Robert Reynolds, and I think it's a good thing that there isn't drama behind it. I think the fandom experience would be better if there wasn't drama. Like, I don't want to know anything about what goes on behind the scenes. I want to enjoy the movie just because it's a good movie and to leave it at that. If you're one of those people who's really interested in the making of the movie, I remember being a kid and being really into the like the deleted scenes and the bonus features for the Lord of the Rings films where they go into the making of those. That was pretty interesting. But in terms of the like actors drama and what's going on behind the scenes, I'm not really interested in that stuff. So this is good news on two fronts. It gives us the possibility to get a comic book accurate actor, and there's not some big kerfuffle over Steven Yeun dropping out. Now, I suppose that could be also seen as a negative, because as I said earlier, it's not like Marvel came to their senses and decided, hey, we're going to stop race and gender swapping characters. So we decided to pass on Steven Yeun and go for someone who looks more like the Sentry in Marvel Comics. As for who I think would be a good Sentry, I'm thinking someone like, I think Alexander Skarsgård, or is it Stellan Skarsgård? One of the Skarsgårds, the guy who played the main character in The Northman. Like, you can see he can obviously get jacked for the role, and he's a big blonde haired, blue eyed white dude. So he could be the Sentry. I've seen some fan castings of Ryan Gosling. Honestly, I don't know enough about Ryan Gosling to comment on his acting ability. And I don't know if he could get big enough for the role. I've seen maybe one or two Ryan Gosling films, and honestly, he was overshadowed in both of those films by other actors. So I don't know. Maybe they could even get Henry Cavill to come in, put a blonde wig on him. He could basically be Marvel Superman, although maybe even in the future they could do the Squadron Supreme and have him be the more accurate analog to Superman Hyperion. But yeah, I'm glad there's no drama behind it. I just want to enjoy these movies. I want them to make a film, a comic book superhero film, with a great story and comic book accurate characters. I want a comic book accurate film and little to no antagonism between the studio and the fans. Saying that aloud, I don't think that's too much to ask. And I know in the modern day that sounds crazy, but the MCU managed to do almost exactly that for the first 10 years, for the most part. They had some not so great movies here and there, but for the most part, they were doing great. They were seen as the most popular franchise in history within the span of 10 years. Star Wars has been around for a lot longer than that. And Star Wars has definitely had its ups and downs, and it's been on a steady downward spiral for the past few years. And I say few, but it's been, man, when did Disney buy Star Wars? It was like 2012, and then they started making films in 2014. So it's been almost a decade now. Time flies, but the MCU shot up to such heights very quick and then quickly went down on a parallel downward spiral to Star Wars. And you can say whatever you want for whatever reasons led to both Star Wars and Marvel failing, whether it be Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, Kevin Feige, the individual writers and directors and whatnot, but you can hardly ever blame the actors. And so for Steven Yeun, this has to suck. And for people who like Steven Yeun as an actor, I'm sure it sucks. For me, it gives an opportunity for an actor who looks like the character and hopefully is a good actor to play the part. The interesting thing will be to see how Marvel is going to play out in 2024. The only officially slated movie for 2024 is Deadpool 3, I believe. And they do have a few series coming out, like Echo, X-Men 97, and I think there's that Marvel or there's that Spider-Man freshman year series. Now, Echo, I believe all the episodes are coming out at once, which is never a good sign. And based on the marketing for the series, which has been a little bit hilarious to me, I don't think it's going to be great. X-Men 97 has a lot of hopes riding on it. And I'm worried both because of the direction that the X-Men have gone in the comics in recent years, but also because of what we've seen from the MCU since Avengers Endgame, that they're going to somehow mess up the X-Men the animated series. And in terms of Spider-Man freshman year, I don't believe it falls into the MCU continuity. I think it's like an outside, like an Elseworlds type story. So, given the actors and writers strike, I imagine there might be other actors who drop out of future films simply because they got tired of waiting. And I mean, the strike lasted what, like 6 months? Steven Yeun was going to be able to play a super powerful Marvel hero who is akin to Superman, and he dropped out of that role after a few months of a strike. Might speak to something. I know I said this wasn't, related to any drama, but it might speak to the fact that maybe he does recognize that Marvel is in that downward spiral and he's like, yeah, I don't really, it seemed cool at the time, but now I'm not sure I want to be a part of this. But let me know what you guys think about this news in the comment section below, and tell me who you think would be best suited for the role of Robert Reynolds, the Sentry. As always, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so that you never miss out on a new video. Thanks for watching.